What happened last week on my game dev journey? 2 new NPCs arrived. Heroes got animated. I tried to do some marketing. And I added quit button. Hello everyone, Tesaks here. And welcome to my devlog. Okay, so let's start as usual with puzzle pieces. And maybe Walker of Aldenor this time as well. I only did really small tweaks to both games last week, and I kept trying and testing Walker of Aldenor. And only after multiple days of testing and research, well, during the Sunday, I finally managed to narrow down what seems to be the issue causing the crashes on Android 11. So I am really looking forward to try and fix this issue this week. So, finger crossed, wish me luck. But now let's talk about Project Matcher, because that's where all the progress is. And do you remember when I said that I am starting to feel confident about showing Project Matcher to the world? Well, today is the day. I am not going to show you the whole game, only the animations and new NPCs, but still, I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, so back to the development. First of all, I think that I decided how to name the game for good. But I'm not going to announce that name yet. I will let it sit for a while, and if I will like it in the future, I will change it for good. For now though, Project Matcher is still Project Matcher. Anyway, first thing that I did was fixing menu controller. In last video, I was talking about issues that prevented me from accessing sandbox level on my phone, which unfortunately meant no testing on actual physical device, and that's no go for me. No virtual device can replace physical device when it comes to testing, so I fixed that, and I also added a few other features that will come in handy later on. So what's next? Oh yeah, right, the 2 new NPCs. I'm happy to say that Bandit Heavy and Bandit Archer finally made it to the game. That means I finally have 2 really important test subjects. First, the Bandit Heavy is meant to be hard to kill, but not so damage dealing NPC. Also, it works slower than other NPCs, and that's what was so important. I finally could test different walking speeds without messing around with config files. And it worked as intended. I consider this quite an achievement, and thus I'm happy. And yeah, also the Archer, right? I'm happy to announce that Bandit Archer works as intended as well. Well, there were some issues, but luckily nothing gameplay related. Rather, the animations were a little bit off. And to be honest, animations were a little bit off on both heroes and foes in general. But there is nothing that one afternoon of dedicated work couldn't fix. Am I right? Well, back to the Archer. Wonky animations don't change anything on the fact that for the first time ever, some kind of ranged attack animations were introduced to the game. And thus ranged foes are no longer just standing there, with heroes' health magically being depleted over time. Oh yeah, I mentioned that one afternoon of dedicated work, right? Well, that's what I did. I polished majority of the animations, and there is still a long way to go. As you can see on the video, hand positioning still isn't the best one out there. And arrows are disappearing just before being drawn. That's actually because I don't have arrows scripted yet. These ones are just placeholders. Anyway, I added bunch of small details, fixed issue with weapons not aligning with the NPC hands, at least for majority of the animations, and I tried to apply animations to heroes as well, as you can see. Now, let's talk about the difference between heroes and foes. In theory, both look the same, work similarly, and the behavior isn't different from each other. But in fact, they are both different prefab units. Originally, I wanted to use just one prefab unit for both heroes and foes, but I quickly changed my mind as I realized that 2 different scripts would be required, and I didn't want to complicate everything even further. So even though they look and behave in similar ways, both are different, and thus require some additional work. Although, in my opinion, not as much work as would my original idea require. And this is the reason why I was somehow skeptical about using the same set of animation of both heroes and foes. Well, it turned out it doesn't matter that much. All I had to do was to unite the hierarchy, which isn't a big deal, and to add few functions to the hero script. and it worked almost flawlessly, which is huge win. I will have to add some unique animations for heroes later on, but I think the basic stabbing and slashing animations could be recycled, as there is not much I can do about it anyway. Anyway, thanks to this, I also had to finally add weapons and with a dynamic stat manager to the heroes. And it means that the weapons and equipment manager is the next logical step in this direction. Hopefully something I could start working on during the next week. But I have to keep in mind that weapons and equipment manager requires menu and UI to be fully functional. So maybe some kind of work in progress version is optimal compromise? I don't know, I will have to see. What I was describing was progress through the whole week. But let's just quickly address something that I personally hate doing, and that I had to do midweek. Of course, is marketing. I did some research regarding Facebook and Google Ads. It still seems to me that Facebook ads are working better. And I'm still not sure if I want to throw some money there or not. It's a tough question. What I also did was reaching to two YouTubers. I hope to at least hear back from them, as my past attempts at contacting anyone were unfortunately without any response, which is, let's put it this way, really frustrating. Also, if I will just quickly get back to the animations again, there are two stuff that I changed. One is quite small detail, which isn't noticeable anywhere yet. I did script that takes care of the magic effects to both foes and heroes. And this really isn't that big change, because this part of the script was already here. I just fleshed it out, like added a bunch of stuff, coded some kind of coding magic, etc. So anyway, once some kind of mage makes appearance, this should be placed for further development. Oh, so I am boring again, huh? Okay, there is some dockcam action for you, and now back to the topic. And second change is that I reworked combat logic. Originally the heroes and foes would attack each other when possible, and when that happened first damage would be calculated and health of the target reduced accordingly. Right after that attack animation would be played. Now I reworked that, as thanks to this some animations were being played even after the target was already dead. And I believe this would make some mess further down the line, especially with magic and ranged units. So now the animation is being played first, and because I learned how to use scriptable frames, right on the frame where the weapon makes impact, or basically the weapon impact is happening, is also the time where the damage is calculated and health of the target reduced accordingly. I believe that this will help me create better animations and scenarios in the future, and probably will prevent some inconsistency and bugs with the combat. Also, it means that I will have to take unique approach with ranged weapons, but that's something I've been expecting from the start, to be honest. And when the end of the week came by, I added last but really important thing. I finally added quit button to the game. So I no longer have to restart the game when I want to get back to the menu, restart current wave of enemies, etc. during testing on both virtual and physical device. And this is basically everything that I managed to do last week. Unfortunately, I got stuck 3 times last week on some rather major issues. But I'm glad to say that I completely figured out 2 of them, and I managed to find temporary workaround for the last one, and I'm pretty sure that the future Tesaks will have no issues fixing it as well. Anyway, my original plan was to make a little bit more progress than I did, but I had to deal with some personal and family issues, so that took me 2 whole days from the week, which is quite noticeable portion of work time that I originally could use. Either way, I am happy that I managed to overcome everything the last week threw at me quickly, as it was quite stressful, difficult, but luckily for the most part, it was a load of fun. And I believe it's time to end this video. So if you like what I am doing, I would like to ask you to share this video or any of my games with your friends, family, or just a random stranger. Oh yeah, of course, one last thing before I end this video. If you haven't tried puzzle pieces or Walker of Aldenor yet, I will leave links to both games in the description. Just getting them, playing them, maybe occasionally watching an ad or buying puzzle pieces on PC is the best way to support me. And if you would like to go even further, you can share all my work, including this channel, with literally everyone. If you are not that much into big supporting stuff, but you still want to help me, even giving this video a like or maybe subscribing to my channel helps a lot as well. Anyway, I will also include link to my Facebook page, Instagram and Discord server, so you can join me here on my game day journey. And that's it for today. Thanks you for watching and I will see you next time.